Hello students, welcome to Legacy Academy. In today's video, we are going to discuss about the recent killing of Hezbollah's chief Nasrallah and how it is going to impact the West Asia, especially in the context of a year-long war that has been going on between Israel, Hamas and proxy actors such as Hezbollah and Iran. So first of all, we need to give the background of this particular topic. Since almost a year, that is, has passed since the latest Gaza war broke after the 7th October attack carried out by the Hamas in the Israeli territory and basically we can say the massacre of many innocent civilians. Now Israel has shifted its focus toward its northern border, which it shares with the Lebanon, which is also the stronghold of Hezbollah. Over the past few weeks, Israel has carried out massive extent of bombardments in Lebanon, targeting largely the Hezbollah command and control center, Hezbollah leaders and its foot soldiers, killing at least 700 people and displacing more than 100,000 of individuals. Among the dead is Hassan Nasrallah, who was the Secretary General of Hezbollah, whose body has been found today itself. Now, to understand that what preceded the airstrike, so Israel has carried out basically a huge number of pager explosion and the walkie-talkie explosion, which the Hezbollah fighters use in the Lebanon, which is basically an old method of communication. Now, Hezbollah in retaliation fired hundreds of rockets into Israel, including even a ballistic missile, which was intercepted over none other but the capital city of Israel, Tel Aviv itself. The US and France, however, looking at the worsening of situation, called out for a ceasefire, which Israel was quickly able to rule out. In this context, the PM of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, he has said that Israel will continue to fight until its objectives are met, until its goals are met in Lebanon, and it achieves a total victory against the Hamas in Gaza. Now, Hamas was the terrorist group which has carried out attack on the 7th October last year inside the Israeli territory. Now let us try to understand about the Hezbollah and its origin. Now Hezbollah is made up of two words, Hezb and Allah, which basically means the party of God, and it is a Shiite Islamic militant organization largely hailing from the Lebanon, supported indirectly and directly by the Iran. Now as per the Center for Strategic and International Studies CSIS, it believes that Hezbollah is the most heavily armed non-state actor that we have today in the world, with a large and diverse stockpile of weapons which include unguided artillery rockets as well as ballistic, anti-air, anti-tank and anti-ship missiles. And Lebanese civil war that was fought between 1975 to 1990, it is this civil war that resulted into a long civilian discontent over the large armed Palestinian presence in the country, which is one of the major reasons behind the rise and the strength of the Hezbollah. Now, Lebanese, before if we talk about the Lebanon itself, it was a French mandate until 1943, and after it ended, power was divided into various religious groups. Now, after this, or since 1948, basically several we can say events has happened, or which events have transpired, which has led to the evolution of the Hezbollah. 1948 onwards, we have a tense ethnic and religious divisions that basically has covered the entire region. Palestinian refugees came to Lebanon in a large number as they were displaced by the settlement of Israel, as Israel was given the mandate to create its own state for the Jewish people in the ancient Palestinian homeland. 1978 and 1982, this was the time duration when Israeli forces invaded the southern part of Lebanon, which it shares border with, to expel Palestinian guerrilla fighters. 1979 is the time when in Iran, we can say Shah Raja Pahlavi's empire was overthrown by the Khomeini, and this you have formation of a theocratic Islamic government in the Iran, which wanted to create a Shia state and also wanted to have a strong opposing view against the existence of Israel. Now, this is something that will lead to the formation of Hezbollah. If we try to understand the geography of this region, as we can see here, small we have a green is Israel along the coast of Mediterranean Sea. To the northern border of Israel, you have a small state, that is Lebanon, which is surrounded from almost all sides by Syria, and then you have Iraq, and then you have the Iran. And also to the south, you have the Sunni-led states, that is Egypt, Saudi Arabia and UAE largely, and this is the Shia-led state, that is Iran, Iraq and Syria. So Saudi-Iran rivalry also comes under this context. Now we try to understand about the significance of Hezbollah. Basically, its raison d'etre, or we can say the rationale behind existence, is to oppose the Israel and Western influence in the West Asia. Not only that, it also has, along with Russia and Iran, supported the regime of President Bashar al-Assad in the neighborhood Syria during its civil war that began somewhere in 2010. And Bashar al-Assad has also been accused of killing its own people, killing its own citizens who protested against his regime, even by using the poisonous gases such as sarin. Now, it became more visible in the Lebanese politics in the mid 2000s and currently holds 13 of the country's 128 member parliament. In other words, we can say that Lebanon is a part of the ruling government. Hezbollah is a part of the ruling government in the Lebanon. However, in the recent years, there has been a wide protest that the people of Lebanon themselves have participated in against the work of Hezbollah, especially in the context of rising unemployment, the government debt which has increased, and the poverty level that has continuously been rising, and the situation is deteriorating in the Lebanon. So the question comes that what is the military capability of Hezbollah? Now, Israel and Hezbollah have fought first of all a war in 2006 over a month and have often exchanged fire. However, Hezbollah does not have a lot of what we can say is precision weapons, but what do they have is the sheer very high number of these unguided weapons. To understand this, during the end of 2006 war, the number was 15,000, but since then it has got the support of the Iran and backed by the Russia, and it has been able to basically what we can say expand its stockpile to almost 130,000 rounds, which is a very large number, especially if you look at the size of Israel itself. That is something that Israel feels threatened with. Now, what does Israel want? Israel simply is what we can say is stuck in a Gaza quagmire when, under the leadership of Netanyahu, it launched a ground invasion in Gaza after the Hamas attack. But the ending of war is not so easy for Mr. Netanyahu, because he needs to show something to his public as a victory, and on whose watch the October 7 attack has unfolded. If he end the war abruptly, obviously without meeting the objectives of the Israel, then his popularity will be declining in the Israel. His popularity will basically we can say will be gone in the Israel, and that will lead to the demise of his government and hold on the power also. Now, Israel wants to degrade Hezbollah's capabilities and turn at least them away from the border regions. To understand this, this is the Israel, and to the northern border of Israel, as you can see, is the Lebanon. So, to understand, Lebanon has carried out attacks on Israel as well, as we can see from the blue dots here, while Israel has concentrated its maximum attack in the southern region of Lebanon. That basically shows you how strongly the Israel is taking the threat that it might have to face from the Hezbollah, especially from the southern side of or southern border of Lebanon. And that is why it has carried out the bombardment on Lebanon, which we can say is similar to what it did in the 1967 war over the Egyptian Air Force. Now, what will come next is something that is a dilemma for Israel, because Israel's leadership, as we have discussed, has ruled out any probability or chance of a ceasefire on the Lebanese border. Similarly, Hezbollah is far more powerful than Hamas. That means Israel cannot go and launch a ground attack invasion in the Lebanese territory, because that also can pull Iran directly in the war. Iran's proxy might is not deterring Israel. Now, that is something that also is not working. No one or no party is able to deter other party. So, Iran's proxy might is not deterring Israel. That we can see from the instances where Israel has carried out several attacks within the Iranian territory itself. And even a few months back, there has been the killing of this Hamas main leader within the Iranian territory. Israel's firepower is not deterring the Hezbollah, which has been continuously firing weapons in the Israeli territory. And the Houthis and Hezbollah's rockets are not deterring Israel from pounding Lebanon, as we have seen in the case of the map in the last slide. Now, this was a conflict loop, or this is a conflict loop, which has a probability to break into an escalatory ladder, triggering an all-out war in the West Asia region, especially if Iran decides to participate in the war directly, and that is something that the world will try to avoid. That is all for this particular video. Thank you very much.